Maria, a determined 20-year-old girl from a small town, had big dreams. She wanted to help her family by earning enough money to give her younger siblings a better education. She worked as a housekeeper in a nearby city, doing her best to save every penny. But Maria knew that if she could improve her English, she could get a better paying job in the hotel industry. The problem? Maria was terrified of speaking English. The fear of making mistakes and being laughed at held her back. One evening, while cleaning a guest's room, Maria overheard a conversation between two travelers. They spoke about job opportunities for people who could communicate in English fluently. Maria's heart raced. That could be me, she thought, but the fear of failure crept in again. On her way home, she saw a poster for free English speaking classes at the local community center. She stood staring at it for a long time, battling her nerves. Finally, she decided, I have to try. The first class. The next evening, Maria walked into the small, crowded classroom. Her hands were trembling, and she could barely hold her notebook steady. The teacher, Miss Clara, a kind woman in her 30s, greeted everyone with a warm smile. Welcome. Here, we make mistakes to learn, she said cheerfully. When it was Maria's turn to introduce herself, she froze. Her throat felt dry, and she could only manage to say, My name, Maria. That's a great start, Maria. Miss Clara encouraged. Keep going. Maria struggled, but with Miss Clara's gentle guidance, she managed to complete a simple introduction. Facing the fear. The classes continued, and Maria worked hard. At home, she practiced speaking in front of a mirror, repeating phrases like, How can I help you? And, Would you like tea or coffee? One day, her employer, Mrs. Robinson, caught her practicing in the kitchen. Instead of mocking her, Mrs. Robinson smiled and said, Maria, you're doing great. Practice with me whenever you want. Encouraged, Maria started speaking small sentences in English at work. Good morning, Mom, she would say, or, here is your tea. Though her sentences were simple, the effort didn't go unnoticed. The big test. One day, a guest at the house asked Maria for directions to a nearby market. She panicked but remembered Miss Clara's words, confidence is key. Even if you make mistakes, say it with courage. Maria hesitated, then slowly said, Go left from the house, then straight. Market is there. The guest smiled and said, Thank you. You speak well. Maria felt a surge of pride. That small moment boosted her confidence immensely. The opportunity. After 3 months of classes, Maria's English had improved. She was far from perfect, but she could now hold basic conversations. One evening, Mrs. Robinson introduced Maria to a friend who managed a nearby hotel. She's hard-working and now learning English, Mrs. Robinson said. The hotel manager asked Maria a few questions in English. Maria answered nervously but clearly. Impressed by her dedication, he offered her a position at the hotel's cafe. A new beginning. Maria's first week at the cafe was challenging. She had to interact with tourists, take orders, and sometimes explain menu items. There were moments when she stumbled or misunderstood, but each time, she apologized politely and learned from her mistakes. Her colleagues supported her, often helping her practice phrases like, "Would you like anything else?" and "Enjoy your meal." Over time, Maria's confidence grew. She started saving more money, and her family was thrilled with her progress. The transformation. A year later, Maria was no longer the shy girl who avoided speaking English. She had become one of the cafe's most trusted employees. Her English wasn't perfect, but her willingness to learn and her kind demeanor made her a favorite among customers. One day, she stood in front of a group of new employees, teaching them basic English phrases. As she spoke, she realized how far she had come. Maria smiled to herself. Learning English hadn't just opened doors to a better job. It had given her a voice, a newfound confidence, and the courage to dream bigger. Fear of failure often holds us back, but taking small, consistent steps can lead to incredible transformations. The key to success lies in courage, determination, and the willingness to learn.